Hello everyone, the Wise Old Owl Productions here, back at it again with another review on another new piece of 80th merchandise. And this time, you've read the title and seen the thumbnail, it's James. So yeah, let's get to it. And this time, I learned from my past mistake with the Flying Scotsman review and actually got a pair of these. Got a pair of these. The closest thing to scissors I have. But yeah, snipping up the cardboard. Cardboard, and alright then. Alright, and yep, remove James from his first plastic cardboard prison, and here he is inside his plastic prison. And snip and peel, as in peel Godred, that place that apparently exists. But yep, here we are, and out he comes, and yep, and here is James. Alright, so first impressions. His face looks really nice. I love the fact they painted the front of his running board. Sure, the sides aren't, but this is the first time Mattel have ever painted the running boards on one of their items. So it's kind of a big deal. I'm sure someone will correct me on whether it truly is their first time painting the running boards on an engine, but whatever. But, yep. Not too keen on the face, though. I don't know what it is about it, just looks kind of weird. But, whatever. Now, for his tender, I don't think that, the coal loads being removable is a new thing for this line. I think the All Engines Go, line had the, tender engines have removable coal loads, but yeah, this coal load's pretty neat. And so is his tender. Though I know this is probably retooled from the All Engines Go line, but I do wish that he didn't have this dip on his front side, well, on his back side. Front side, it's okay because you won't be seeing it very well, but the back side, you could have done without that, but it is for functionality's sake to lift the coal load in and out. So, yeah, that's something I'll give a pass to. And next up, we got what he came with, a white tanker. Now, some may think, well, why didn't they just give him a tar tanker? Why this white one? And I would agree with that, but this is not the first time a motorized James has been released with a tanker that wasn't a tar tanker. And some people are like, oh, you couldn't have written Tidmouth Milk on the side? Well, first off, they wouldn't have written Tidmouth Milk on the side because that's not the Tidmouth Milk logo anymore, or the milk logo anymore. It's now a picture of a cow, which I think was done for international dubbing purposes. Like most Disney movies, when they're released, they have, when they're released in places like France and Belgium and Japan and other places like that, Text instead is replaced with pictures. But yes. But it's not a big deal. And also, this is model series accurate, because there have been times in the model series where we've seen a white tanker. So, big props on that. But something I'm... But... Well... Blah, 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 blah. Something I am kind of excited to see is... What if, you know, if a model series tanker can be released, just imagine, you know, what if this new line isn't just exclusive to characters that made it into the CGI series? What if they also start releasing model series only characters like Smudger, Proteus, Derek, and Class 40, or Molly, Stephanie, or Boko, which are ones that, you know, would make a little more sense, that aren't, you know, characters that aren't just a bunch of glup shittos. I think I did see on the back of some box somewhere, it's not this box, but on other boxes, I think it was like the one on the anniversary pack, which the only 80th anniversary merch to have appeared in stores so far is just this 3-pack, the Flying Scotsman 3-pack, the Gordon 3-pack, and the Dirty Thomas 3-pack. None else have appeared in the Walmart near me. But yes. So yeah. I will, where is it, oh wait, there it is. Yep, just gonna pull out my screwdriver set, and, there we go. And, well, we're going to, open this guy up and see how or if he runs. Yep, here it is, the Leo Kim Video screwdriver shot. The removal of his chassis, and once again, the coupling is connected to the engine and not the chassis. But, you know, it is interesting, but nothing too notable. Alright, and here are the two AAA batteries. These are the same ones that were in Flying Scotsman. Well, since his motor was gutted, there really isn't a need for him to have those, is there? So I think those are just going to be my testing the motors of these new engines batteries. Alright, James is all sealed up. Let's have him run on empty, because, I don't know, it would be funny, I guess. Alright, let's, just give him a small run. Yep. Here's James, carrying a tanker, running on empty. Yep, that's definitely, a thing. So, yeah. I am very much a fan of this, tanker. So something that was on the Flying Scotsman that I didn't notice, thought it was only on his water tender, but, James has buffers on his front side here, which I'm pretty sure that was a thing on the All Engines Go model, but, you know, whatever. I can find a way to get these buffers off. So, yep, that's, James. Definitely a more mixed bag than Flying Scotsman, but I'm still happy with him nonetheless. And I will be right back. Okay, I am back. Yes, there is some Trackmaster track here now. hours of fun. But I'm also back to make a comparison between this James and the 2014 Revolution James. So here they are side by side. And yep, something I appreciate about this James is that they bothered to add the pony truck to his front. That's something this James didn't bother with. So yes, while this James is a bit more of a whack in terms of scaling, I appreciate that he is much better detailed. Though something that the old James did do better was the face. Yes, this one's a bit in rough condition. I got that one secondhand from when my parents visited a thrift store. Can you blame me? But either way, this James looks, you know, a little more like the standard face, but this James's face, I don't know. Now that I'm seeing it, I kind of like this new James face. You know, his mouth is closed and his eyes are looking ever so slightly to the right. Probably at his tender that just hit him, but whatever. But, yep, more detailed side rods and more detailed back. You know, this Trackmaster Revolution is garbage. But, and while there are some flawed areas, I think this Trackmaster Revolution, I guess you could call it Trackmaster 3. Trackmaster 3 James works perfectly fine. Alright then. And also, something I forgot to mention about the tanker not having a logo. Not only is it model series accurate, but it helps children with their imaginations. You know, it doesn't have to be milk in there. It could be many things. Paint, water, beer. Yep, that's one only the OGs will get. Yeah, that's one only the OGs will get. But enough of that. Time to make improvements to this James. All right. First up, remove him from his chassis. Yep. This thing looks weird running on its own, but we're not looking to modify the chassis just yet. We're looking to modify the body shell, but just before I do that, I would like to try a little experiment with James's tender. What is the experiment? Because, well, I think, like, I don't know when this change occurred. I think it was, like, 2018, 2019. I wasn't keeping up with the official show. You know, only passing glances at whatever the hell's going on, and would watch an episode only if it really excited me or interested me. Unlike now, which I do not watch the current series at all. Have not seen. Like, I saw a little bit, like the first couple episodes of All Engines Go. And saw snippets of it, so I don't know, maybe things aren't that different. I guess the only real difference is that the Thomas I was, you know, quickly watching through illegal uploads on YouTube was actually good, not dog shit. But at some point they started making motorized front couplings different to how they used to, where it was where they would go up and down, where they were connected on pegs, like the back couplings are. They're connected on pegs now, like similar to the back coupling style. But the reason why I wanted to do this is because the rear coupling is very long, and I wanted to see, could this work in squeezing the gap between James and his tender. I don't really feel like screwing these back in, but I wanted to see, could it still? No. Well, ignoring the tender joints falling off, could James clear that set of points? Only one way to find out. He could. But, You know what? It might make removing the no. I don't think I'm going to try that. Or maybe I will. You know what? Let's actually screw James's tender back onto him. You know what? I'll let someone else figure it out. Could... No. I'm not someone that quits. I'm gonna try and see if this could work as an alternate method of coupling up, of having engines coupled to their tenders. Does this work? Yep. Let's see if it works. Alright, here's James on the straights. Cold his tender. Let's see if it'll work. Alright. But the question is, will it work with 3 points? Now that is something we'll have to test out right now. Alright, here he is on 3 curves. So, I guess this can be a good alternate method of coupling tender engines to their tenders. Though, I should probably try to see if this would work, how many curves on a layout, can James take? Alright, let's out. Okay, let's see this. Okay, I guess if you don't, I guess it's still curves. So maybe this is what they wanted you to do with the over elongated rear coupling. Make a very closer connection between engine and tender. Alright then. I was fully expecting to have to, jerry-rig this into a back coupling. I guess, putting Trackmaster Classic back couplings onto these engines is something that will be reserved for tank engines like Thomas. But tender engines like James? Yep, he can. Yep, he can turn corners, regardless of, with this overlong coupling. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, you can have, yep, not as much articulation, but enough to get through standard Trackmaster points, or curves. Granted, this is Trackmaster Classic Track, not Revolution Track, which I'm sure most of you will be using with this, James. So, if you try this method with your motorized, new motorized tender engines like James here, and it works, comment down below if it works on Revolution Track as well as Classic Track. So, yeah, I was not expecting this to work, but I'm glad it does. James looks so much better with the connection between him and his tender minimized. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Alright, but enough on that. Off to the other side of the James modifications that we will be doing today. Alright, you know what time it is. It's time for the moment you've been waiting for. Removing the motor from the chassis. So enough dilly-dallying. Let's get to it. So yeah, you know, for some people, they like, you know, them free rolling is not a you know, big deal for them, but it is for me. Ish. Yep, this is gonna be strenuous, but well, I don't have a triangular screwdriver, and also the people who invented triangular screws can go screw themselves. Okay, that's mean. Yeah, I think I saw this one meme online. It was basically saying, it was like the belief that there are only two genders and that all other genders are mental disorders, which, first of all, they're not. Anyone who says that is wrong. But someone else also said that about screws, that only like crosshead and flathead ones are actual screws, and the others are just mental disorders, which I do not approve of. Because, you know, even if you don't quite understand someone's identity or who they are, that doesn't mean you have to be mean to them and act like their identities are not valid. Yeah, you may not understand that, I don't know, trans people exist, and that that trans women are women, and trans men are men, but we still are. You may not understand all the ins and outs of the queer community, but please just accept us as we are, and don't try to quote fix us, because we cannot be fixed simply because we are not broken. Yep, this one's looking pretty worse. Yep, this third one's looking a little worse for wear. I might have to replace it with this crosshead screw. Which whatever. But triangular screws are still a pain in the ass to make, or to unscrew. And you know, in the last video, I bashed Mattel for giving their toys triangular screw heads, but I guess it is for a noble cause. So kids don't do things like choke on the motors or the switches or something. And, yep, wrist cramp. And you know, it's... Oh! Yeesh, oops, oil. Accidentally touched the part of the motor with the oil. Absolutely disgusting. I'll be washing my hands after this. But, yep. Motor is gone. James can roll now. And now I can start tightening the screws again. But, yeah. Yep, that motor, just like the motor for Flying Scotsman, it's going straight into the garbage. Yep. You know, I am an artist. I mean, you can see in the background my drawing tablet that and laptop that I pushed aside to make this video and the Flying Scotsman video. You know, I am an artist. I should be used to my hand cramping up. Should be immune to it by now. I've been going at, the digital art scene since, like, 2016, 2017, 2018, I've been doing digital art since around the late 2010s. Since around the late... And I should not be getting hand cramps. But I am. Why? I don't know. I say, blame the squirrels. Yeah, anytime in my house, my sister, well, not my sister, basically anytime anything goes wrong in my house, I'm always the first to just blame the squirrels. It's the squirrels' fault. And then my sister is basically saying, no, blame James. And I don't mean the Splendid Boy that we reviewed today. She means famous Minecrafter YouTuber James Turner. Maybe that's the real identity of Timmy's dad, James Turner. He's a Minecraft YouTuber and is constantly maybe James Turner has a neighbor named, maybe he has, like, in famous Minecraft YouTuber James Turner's Minecraft world, maybe he has a pet creeper that he named Dinkelberg. Maybe, I don't know. But, yeah. While I always say to blame squirrels for everything, my sister says to blame James. Which, maybe you're right. Maybe I do blame James. James, how dare you... Wait, no, that's not it. The Fat Controller voice. Hey, James, you have caused confusion and delay. These triangle screws are giving my hand a very painful cramp. Go to her shed and think about what you've done. Yes, sir. And how the hell are you moving without any wheels? Don't ask. Wait, no, that's not my James voice. It's, Yes, sir. Oh, don't ask. Yep. My ideal James voice is based on season 5 Alec Baldwin James, which means I had canon James as gay. Yep. James is gay. You know, you'd be scared of that red man, but he's not scary. He's red, but not scary. You know what James is? He's a homosexual. Homosexual. Yay! I might buy another one of these Jameses and paint him in LGBT colors, or the colors of the toothpaste gay pride flag, and just have a gay James. Maybe that can be another icon to the channel, along with Hootie McHootface. Yeah. Yeah. Yep, hand cramp. I mean, do I really need to reassemble the rear part? Yes, I do. I do, in fact, need to reassemble the rear part of James's chassis, because I don't know. I guess it makes removing the chassis easier. But now that I think about it, now that the motor's gone and there's no batteries in him, there's really no reason to remove James's chassis from him. Well, there was for my old James. Yeah, I got my old Trackmaster 2 James from the Essential Engines gift pack. Yeah, that pack was featured a Race Day Thomas, Percy, James, Gordon, and Diesel without any rolling stock. Well, Diesel didn't have any rolling stock. And I used those engines for quite a while. The Race Day Thomas, that one ended up becoming a custom model of Kiki from the Thomas Amino. You might have heard of her. She's recently just fallen off the face of the earth, and I have no idea where she went. But either way, I still have that custom, still in the Kiki, guys, and I'm never getting rid of it or repainting that Thomas into something that isn't Kiki. And the Percy, James, and Gordon I have used as my main ones forever to this day. And the ones with that. And, recently my parents did come across a lot of trains from Goodwill, and they bought them for me, which included the James you saw in this video. But getting back to the points, as a kid, I only had Trackmaster Iron Bert and never Iron Airy. And so eventually I just repainted the Diesel that came in that pack as Iron Airy. And used the side rods and used the chassis from James as both his chassis and the chassis of Airy. So yeah, James and an Ironworks twin share a chassis. How noble, how considerate of our bright red cheerful pal to share his chassis with a Diesel. Really shows how much he's grown. Oh no, I did not. She forced me to have to share my chassis with that dirty diesel. Ugh. Okay, thank you, James. Go. Your chassis is not done yet. Yes. I used both the air. Well, that was I used that chassis with side rods as both James and Aries chassis for quite a while, and now with this new one, that won't be necessary anymore. I can just now have him be. I can just take the chassis from this James and just remove it. Not sure what I'm going to do with the James top, though. I'm sure I'll think of something. Yep, cramping hand. Cramping hands. I kicked the tripod. Sorry about that. Yep, that's the kind of thing you got to expect, boys and girls. Opening and reviewing an engine. It's not all peaches and cream. Sometimes you get hand cramps from trying to remove these goddamn triangular screw heads. Yeah, I haven't seen Sodorland, and I'm not sure. Should I watch Sodorland, the finale to Shed 17? Shed 17 has always confused the hell out of me. Because, why make Thomas a biofused engine? A mix between human and machine. He's basically a cyborg now. And it is creepy as hell. Yeah, and also Paul's vids apparently does not have the best reputation. I don't know what he did, and to be frank, I'm not interested in finding a reason to hate on him. Because, I've already hated on He Who Does Not Exist enough times. I don't need to find another dumb person that wants me dead to hate on. And Jesus, this one ain't looking too good. But regardless, who else is excited for the Thomas fandom documentary that the Thomas Cynic is publishing on the 30th of this month? Because I know I am. Because, I've been rewatching that trailer of his that he made for it on repeat, and I'm slowly making my way through the videos he used for it, which include Gleaming Red Ted, Leokim Video's Mad Bomber, which say what you will, but Mad Bomber was literally the father, or the mother, the parent. I guess it could be father, because, made by a man. He is literally, Mad Bomber is literally the father of fan-made Thomas content on YouTube. And I bet if Leokim Video wanted to continue and complete Mad Bomber episodes 2 and 3, he could actually he probably would have had a funner time with it, and literally everyone would be ecstatic. But he did say that Mad Bomber is not something that's fun for him to make anymore. And I respect that. But it is always nice to dream. But yeah, as a kid, I just thought that Andy Diesel was the Mad Bomber. Because, of course they did. You know, I know better now that it was someone else. And for a while, I had just accepted that Scottish John is a little sus among us. You know, instead of who is the Mad Bomb in the imposter, it's who is the Mad Bomber. Among Us Black, Among Us Mad Bomber Edition. I don't know. I'd watch that. But, yeah. Alright then. And... yeah. This is probably as tight as they're gonna get. But whatever. You know, it won't first open. Let's just give James his wheels back. And the motor's going straight into the garbage. If here is James. Here is James. Okay, yes. Okay. There we go. Yep, here is James, all ready and raring to go, with his white tanker. As for the model, I would give this a solid 7 out of 10. -1 point for how difficult this was to disassemble, and -1 for the buffers at the front, and -1 for this weird circular gap in the tender. And I know it's so you can easily get the coal out, but why not just tip it out? Because, you know, that's what we used to do back in the days of Learning Curve Thomas Wooden Railway. But aside from that, I am very, very impressed with this model. I love the 60th anniversary Thomas style face, the white running board, the detail on him, and while the dips are annoying, the coal load in the tender is a nice touch, and I like what you can do with him, with having him like this. People, sound off down below if this sort of thing for James works, because, you know, with the tender and engine connected more closely together, he looks so much better. Alright, that is it for today's video, and in the words of Leo Kim Video, bye for now.